there are three major signs that the Bible gave concerning the church. Number one is affliction and hatred. Number two is the rise of false prophets. And number three is that the gospel of the kingdom must be preached in all the world. It said when this happen, then the end of the age shall come. Matthew 24. Let's look at verse 10 and 11. Begin from verse 9. Many Christians today think afflictions are a burden. They think afflictions are not supposed to be part of our Christian life. And then you're asking them, who discipled you? You don't know you are the church of the last day? James 1:2, he says, count it all joy when you go through diverse trials and tribulation. Peter was preaching on the same subject, and he said, your faith is more precious than gold. He said, yet gold that perishes is tried by fire. How much more will your own faith be tried? And he said, when your faith is tried, you become complete, wanting nothing. But you see what the body of Christ is trying to do? It's trying to make you feel as if Christianity is a bed of roses. That's why our gospel is not relevant to people in Afghanistan. That's why our gospel is not relevant to people in Pakistan. That's why our gospel is not relevant to people in America and in Europe. You know why? The ones who are in the environment of persecution, they can't understand the God we are talking about. Because if this your God only promises money, then why are we where we are? And then the ones in America and UK, they can't receive your gospel. Because if all your God gives is what their government can give them, they don't need your God. We have not taught men to stand for truth and to endure whatever comes to them because of truth. And so we still have a church that people are compromising in the office because their boss threatened them and they don't want to lose their jobs. You are not a Christian. You'll find many people compromising in the office because they want to win the favor of the boss. And a sister who sings in the church or a sister who prophesies in the church can sleep with her boss for a promotion. And then what she was taught is that she has the righteousness of Christ. And what she has done is not a sin, it's a mistake. It's a mistake. We can't endure affliction. We can't endure. Paul was speaking to his son Timothy. He said, endure hardship as a good soldier of Christ. That's how you prove yourself to Jesus. And so Jesus was teaching in Matthew 24 verse 9. He said, they shall deliver you up to be afflicted. They shall kill you. The gospel is not just God will save you, God will deliver you. If that's all you have heard, you will never be a kingdom agent. Because when they go and get stuff, you will escape. Did you not read about John Mark? When Paul and Barnabas were traveling, John Mark thought ministry was about standing on poster, about honorarium, until he started seeing persecution and he ran back. The next time they wanted to go for missionary journey, Barnabas said, we carry John Mark. Paul said, no way. I know you are the one who brought me to the apostolic community. I know you were part of those who encouraged me. I know you were part of those who established me in the church. But on this matter, no way. I'm a warrior of Christ. This guy is not ready. Because he was not taught the affliction dimension of the gospel. Many are lukewarm today. It is only affliction that will wake them up. Affliction, hatred. Nations will lock their doors against you. There are many nations, they hear you are a Christian, they will deny your visa. And if you are there, they will deport you if they don't imprison or kill you. It's a sign that we are in the last day. It says you will be hated. You will be hated. You have to develop a thick skin. If you are still that Christian that somebody spoke against, you go and lie on your bed and cry for 4 hours. You are not ready. They say, can you imagine? They spoke against me. Oh Lord, see what they are doing to me. Doing what? What has happened to you? Have you been beheaded? Have you been in prison? Somebody spoke against you. You went and laid down. You cry. You are looking for sympathy. Stand up from there. There is work to be done. Who cares if anybody is angry with you? Who cares if they speak against you? There's too much work to do to be concerned about what somebody thinks. We are martyrs, ready to bear the witness of Christ in any situation we find ourselves. That is the readiness requirement. And it is one sign that will happen to the church as a proof that we have come to the last day. Jesus said, they hated me, they will hate you. And the apostles knew this very, very well. And all of them gave their lives for it. The second sign of the church is the rise of false prophets. Matthew 24 verse 10 and 11. He said, and then shall many be offended, and shall betray one another, and shall hate one another. Go to verse 11. And many false prophets shall rise, and shall deceive many. So it is false prophets that will bring the delusion into the church. And let me tell you something. When we talk about false prophets, it's not about ministers who bear the title of prophet. Because many people think it's those who say they are prophet A or prophet B that we will censor and choose the ones who are genuine and choose the ones who are fake. It's not about title. Anybody who preaches or lives deception as a minister is a false prophet. Because the credential that the Bible gave there is that it said this false prophet, their job is to deceive many. So you can call yourself an apostle. If there is no truth in your mouth, and if your life is fake, you are a false prophet. There are many people today who are exaggerating a lot of things that God is not saying or doing on the altar. They say they are apostles. They are also false prophets. False prophets are not only the ones who carry the title of prophets. There are many people today, they are preaching what they are not practicing. They are also false prophets. Hope you know that one of the greatest corruption that entered the church is the gospel of materialism. Many people call it the gospel of prosperity, but it's not true, because prosperity is not wrong. Prosperity is actually holistic. Prosperity is spirit. Spirit prosperity is when you are drawing close to God, living under God's ordinances. Holiness is actually spirit prosperity, a state where you are dominated by God and you are not under any demonic influence. Soulish prosperity is a situation where you are mentally doing well, you are sound, and your mind can be used of God to serve his purpose. Bodily prosperity is divine health, and material prosperity is a state where God can entrust you with finances for his kingdom. So there's nothing wrong with prosperity. It is materialism and self-preservation that they brought into the church. And so if you find anybody teaching materialism or self-preservation, he's a false prophet. What is materialism? Everything you do is about God blessing you with something. If you are praying, it's about money. It's about good health. It's about preservation of your family. It's about breakthrough. It's about promotion. Every engagement you have with God is not about God. It's not about your growth. It's about using God to meet a material need. That is what we call materialism. And when you get that material need, you begin to live in vanity. You showcase it. So you see them carry cars, they are showcasing cars. You see them carry planes, they are showcasing planes. There's nothing wrong in having a private jet for missions. But when you buy a private jet and all the seat inside is gold, and you sit down to show people that you are doing well, that's vanity. That's materialism. And so when you quote a private jet, better define what you are saying. If it is for mission, it is welcome. But if it is something that boosts your ego and makes you feel important, that's materialism. And if every engagement you carry out with God is to give you one material thing or the other, that's not the gospel of the kingdom. That's materiality. And then secondly, any message that is preached that is all about you and your benefit is called self-preservation. Do you know the people who brought this to the church? It's the apostles. Those kinds of apostles are also called false prophets. This is the corruption that came to Africa from the Western world. Fasting became about blessing. Prayer became about blessing. Give, it shall be given unto you. Everything is about you and you and you and you alone. There's nothing about God's kingdom. Somebody is looking for breakthrough. God gives him $1 million. The kingdom is not advanced. That 1 million becomes something that makes for self-aggrandizement. That is self. If you find people who advocate this or preach it, they are called false prophets. And this is why many will fall away. Because the moment God is no longer meeting their material need, they don't need God anymore. They look for another God. Because as far as they are concerned, the reason they are coming to God is not because of God, it's because of their needs. And so the third sign is that the gospel of the kingdom must be preached as a witness in all the world. Matthew 24:14.